Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be on my favorite topic, which is women. And the topic is why women make men better when men are in relationships with them. I've got a couple of clients that I'm coaching right now that are completely different opposite ends of the spectrum. I've got one guy who's, for the first time in his life, is totally head over heels with a woman that he's experiencing things that he's never experienced before, and deep feelings of love for her, and it's the kind of relationship that he'd always dreamed of. He'd never been in a relationship before where he had emotions and feelings this intense, and for a woman who feels the same way about him. And so he's having a really great time in the relationship with her. And I've got another guy who is going through a similar phase in his life where he's coming to the end of his career, and he's got, I think, 3 or 4 years before he retires. And so he's looking around to see, well, what am I going to do? Because he's still fairly young. So once he gets his pension and he retires, what's he going to do with the rest of his life? What's his next, what kind of entrepreneurial venture is he going to get into? What kind of a career may he take on next? Because what happens is when we're totally in love, take an example, look at a guy like me. I mean, for much of my life, on a scale of 1 to 10, my relationship success was like a 1 and a 2 for a lot of years. And I was never, at least not very often, going out with the type of women that I really wanted to be with. And so when I finally, for the first time, started dating a woman and learned enough and got enough things right and did enough work on myself and my own insecurities and my own fucked upness, if you will, to where I was able to show up as the best man that I could be in that relationship. And I did everything right. She felt totally, completely head over heels in love with me, and I felt the same way. And it was life-changing. It was life-altering what it did. And so what happens is, if you're used to your relationship life being a 1 or a 3, and the best thing in your life is like your career or your business, you got great friendships, or you think you're in fairly good health, not working out as much as you could, but you're definitely taking pretty good care of yourself. And then you meet a woman, you fall totally crazy, head over heels in love, to where it feels like you're freaking walking on air wherever you go. Your relationships go from a 1 to a 3 in your life, and now they're a 10, and that career of yours or that job or that business that a few months earlier was like the best thing that you had going for you, and you felt like you had the world by the balls, probably making a lot of money, doing well at it. And now all of a sudden you've fallen in love and everything's great, and then you start going, you know what? As you're laying there with your girlfriend after just having amazing sex in the morning, and you're thinking, I really don't want to go to work today. And it's pretty much, I feel like this every day. And you start to realize that whether it's your job or maybe a business you've had for a long time, and you realize that you just don't have the same internal enthusiasm that you once did for it. And so then you're left with like, geez, I got to sell my business. I'm going to change careers. I mean, it's happened to me numerous times in my life. I mean, especially if you spend 5, 10 years, 4 years going to college to get a degree, and then you spend a decade or 15 years, 20 years working in a career or a field, and then you fall in love and you have this amazing relationship, and then you realize that the same passion that because what happens is, like, every guy goes through this. It's like the first time they get to that place, what happens, it's just a natural human tendency, is that I want to feel this way about my career. I want to feel in love with my work. I want to feel in love with my business. I want to feel in love and excited about going to the gym in a way that I've never felt before. Well, if you've got a great woman in your life who's crazy about you and you're crazy about her, you're going to want to take the best possible care of yourself for her because you want to look good for her, and vice versa. She does the same thing. It's like a great quote by Jim Rohn that I love. And it goes like this. He says, I will take care of me for you, and you take care of you for me. And that's a great way to look at it. But that's what happens when a guy gets into a relationship with a woman, is he feels so good, he feels so happy, and then he looks at the rest of his life and he goes, ugh. And it's like a 5 or a 6, where just a few months before his business may have been a 10. And now he's realizing, you know what, I'm not really that excited about this business anymore, and I haven't been for a long time. I mean, that happened to me when I was in real estate. I was talking with one of my clients the other day about this. I was sitting in a seminar. This was back in, I think it was like 2004, and I was watching a guy doing a therapeutic intervention with somebody, and in a matter of minutes, he completely shifted this woman's world and the way she looked at things, completely helped her, destroyed all of her old limiting beliefs, and helped her come up with new empowering ones. I mean, her physiology, her body language, everything was different. The way she looked at the world, I mean, everything was different. And I remember that moment that I was watching this taking place in front of me with my own eyes. Internally, I said, I want to do that. That's awesome. I want to do that. I mean, that's what happened. But it was about 2 years after that before I finally got to the place where I had an epiphany inside, and I realized that I need to become a full-time life coach and get out of the real estate and the mortgage business, what I had always had been doing. That's what I went to college for. I mean, between my partners and I, we had 6 different companies between us, multi-million-dollar companies that we built over the years. And then when you realize that you no longer have that same internal enthusiasm, and then your friends and family around, you're like, yeah, it's like you're like the last one to realize that it can be very hard. It can be very disconcerting because it's not easy to get rid of a business. And I look back on it, I'm really grateful it happened, because I got out of real estate and we sold our office building and I liquidated all the real estate that I had at the time. And then within a year, the whole market went to shit and totally crashed. And I later looked back and then I was thinking, damn, I am so glad that I got out of it when I did, because if I'd have stayed in real estate, I would have fucking been totally wiped out and I would have had nothing. And so that's what is so important and so amazing about being in a relationship with a woman, is that you make your heart sing. And when your fucking heart is just open and you feel good, you look at all these other things in your life. You look at hobbies, you look at interests, you look at magazines that you read, that's something you may have always been curious at, and then you start to look at it and think, well, maybe I could start a business in that, or maybe I could go to get a job for that company, or maybe I should go back to school. I mean, whatever it is, that's what the beauty of a relationship and a good woman will do for any man. And so if you find these messages of value, you can show your appreciation by going down, if you're watching this on my website, there's a Wibbia toolbar at the bottom of your screen. Just click the PayPal donate button and donate any amount that you feel is equal to the value that you receive from this message. And at the very least, please share this page with all your friends and family by clicking either the Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+, any of those social network sharing buttons on the Wibbia toolbar also, so you can share this article with your friends and family. If there's a topic that you'd like me to cover, or you want me to answer some things specifically for you, then write down several paragraphs in an email and send it to me by clicking the Contact Me tab, which is on the left-hand side of your screen, and give me several days to get back to you with a detailed response. And if you'd like to become a paying client of mine, become a phone coaching client, click the Products tab at the top of the screen and just follow the instructions for booking a phone coaching session with me. And I will talk to you soon.